developing emotional intelligence and empathy in the workplace. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is sometimes known as EQ, which is the emotional quotient. You hear about IQ, your intelligence quotient, and then we have EQ, but your EQ and emotional intelligence just the same. It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions while influences others' emotions positively. The 4 core competencies are self-awareness, self-regulation or self-management, motivation, empathy, and social skills. We now know that leaders who have high emotional intelligence have more success. They've got more success in building their teams, more success in building strong relationships. And the reason for that is they are connecting with people. They know how to connect to people. But the wonderful thing about emotional intelligence is it can be learned. It's not something that's inherent in you. It's a skill that you can be taught. Developing your emotional intelligence drives effective communication, conflict resolution, and team harmony. We've also got empathy. Empathy is one of the core competencies of emotional intelligence. Why does empathy matter for leaders? It builds trust. Empathy strengthens relationships by demonstrating care and understanding. Empathy is being able to understand what's going on in someone else's perception of the world. We all have our own unique individual perception of any situation. Everyone who's here is having their own unique perception of this particular session that you're on, because we all see the world through our own filters. Good leaders are able to see things from the people they lead, from their perspective, from the different perspective. And again, this is something that we can teach you. We can teach you how to develop this. Every single one of you has walked through a mall and you've seen a couple who's just maybe in love, you know, the ones that are walking around and they're smiling at each other and they're holding hands and they've almost got hearts and flying birds about them. And you go, oh, isn't that lovely? How are you doing that? You've got to ask yourself, how am I able to do that? You're able to do that because the human brain is able to see things from someone else's perspective. You've also had situations where maybe you've walked into an office and you've looked into a meeting and someone's been given a hard time in a meeting. You go, oh, I wouldn't like to be in there. That looks really tough. Now, you're not in the meeting. You're just looking at that meeting, but you're seeing that from someone else's perspective. So this is something that's incredible to develop so that you can really develop the strong bonds that build trust. Improves performance because when people feel supported, they tend to increase productivity and feel much more engagement. We know that we've got neural coupling. I don't know if some of you have heard about neural coupling. I'm not going to go into that at the moment, but it's the way that our brains connect with each other. When you trust someone, when you feel a bond with someone, when you feel loyalty to someone, you will do more. You will actually give more than someone you don't trust. And when people have got that in teams, this is what creates high-performing teams. Enhances retention. Empathetic leaders encourage the positive and include work environment that reduces turnover. An empathetic leader knows when someone's struggling. They know when someone is becoming disengaged. They know when someone's just not right, and they make the steps to find out what's going on at that point of time. Not to give that person a hard time, to really find out how they can support that person through that. If we just take, for example, in a sales environment, customer service, it's well known in customer service, if you have had a really bad experience with a company and someone steps up and solves that problem for you, you're actually going to have more loyalty to that company because that problem was solved. So when a leader can come in and help solve problems for people and help them become more, understand what's going on in their life and help them, that creates a bond that becomes very difficult for people to leave. People will stay very loyal because people are not loyal to companies. People are loyal to their managers. They're loyal to the workforce. They're loyal to the leaders that they work with. Most people, the company doesn't matter, it's the people within the company. So it's understanding it's all about the human side. Let me go, as we know, in this is just 30 minutes. It's really short and really sharp. It's 3 actionable tips. The first tip is practice active listening. Focus fully on the speaker. Avoid interruptions and distractions. There is nothing worse than someone talking to you and you go, yeah, come in, and you're on your time. Yeah, tell me what you're doing, and you're half listening. We know that people will tell you their problems and how to solve their problems normally in the first few minutes of speaking to you. If you're in your own mind, if you're distracted, if you're not listening, you're not going to hear that. So really good empathetic leaders showing good emotional intelligence, they're able to really listen. Show understanding. Paraphrase or summarize what the speaker has said to confirm clarity. So communication, active listening and communicating is a two-way process. If you don't understand something, clarify, ask questions to understand. And then paraphrase back to show how you've understood that. And if someone says, no, that's not right, that's brilliant, because you just turn around, okay, help me get really clear about this. Because again, leaders that are able to say, help me understand your position, that's creating a really strong bond in the brain. And then ask open-ended questions. Encourage deeper insights and honest conversations. Now, a way to do this is in one-to-one meetings, ask, what's your biggest challenge this week? You don't just say, are things going well? Yeah. You're not looking for closed questions with a yes or no answer. Start to ask, so what's the best thing you've done this week? Or what's the biggest challenge you've overcome this week? So that allows people to start talking about what they've done, what they've achieved, and this creates incredible trust and bond with people. So that's your first tip. And then, second tip, develop emotional awareness. Pause and reflect. Recognize your emotions before reacting. One of the best tips we can give to people is expand your emotional vocabulary. Sometimes you can say to yourself, I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm annoyed, I'm really pissed off, I'm furious. These are completely different. Each one of them will create different behavior. So start to recognize your different emotions. And that way you can start to get other people that you're working with to talk about what emotion they're feeling. One of the worst things you can do is assume someone's emotion without checking. So you can say to someone, maybe there's someone you're leading, you say, I can see you're really angry. And the person says, I'm not angry, I'm frustrated. You have just broken trust. Someone who's developing their emotional awareness will say, so how are you feeling just now? What is it you're feeling just now? And if they say, I'm really frustrated, and if you see that behaviour a few times happening, you then have got a good chance that in some point in the future, if it's happened a few times, you can, in all confidence, say, I can see you're really frustrated. But you don't guess at it. You really take time to work with people to find out how they're feeling or what emotion they're experiencing rather than how they're feeling, and recognise what the different emotions you're experiencing. We're human beings. And by the way, this is what sets us apart from AI, artificial intelligence, is emotional intelligence and the different feelings we have. Keep an emotion journal. Track your triggers and patterns to better understand your responses. I gave a gratitude journal to my niece's 12-year-old for her Christmas, and she's having great fun tracking her emotions. If you know that someone's going to make you really angry, someone always makes you really angry, maybe you're not the best person to go and talk to that person. Maybe you've got to send someone else. There's 2 ways you can do that. You either send someone else or you change your reaction to that situation. Because if not, if you say, they always make me really angry, you go in, you're just going to get angry. And if 2 people are angry, that is not resourceful behaviour, and it's certainly not showing emotional intelligence. So start to understand your own emotions, track your own emotions, track the triggers, track the things. If you find when you get tired, you get short-tempered with people. And one of the things we've also got to look at holistically is your nutrition. You could be thirsty, you could be hungry. We talk about hangry. I'm sure you've all heard that word. People being angry because they're hungry. I get it. So it's understanding, okay, I'm getting into a meeting here. I need to eat something before I go. If not, I'm going to get really short with people. Get to know who you are. Seek feedback. Ask trusted colleagues about how you come across emotionally. Very often, because we live in our own worlds, we're not aware. And I've been working in business for years. I've been working with something called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is it's how we create behavior for over 35 years for business and coaching. And what I have come across in all my leadership development training and coaching is the majority of people that are causing problems, majority of leaders that are causing problems with teams are not even aware they're doing it. They're so in their own world. And when they do become aware of that, they're mortified. They get very embarrassed and go, I didn't mean to come across this. So ask people, how did I come across? And take feedback. Do something with that feedback if it's not resourceful. For example, after a team meeting, reflect on how you handled tough questions. Danny and I worked together for quite a long time in the Middle East. We used to do different presentation skills training, and we would always get feedback with each other. At the end of every single training, how do you feel that went, especially when we were training together? How do you feel that went? How do you think response was? Did I come across a bit sharp there? Was I a bit too soft with what they were doing? And we would be able to give ourselves honest feedback. So that's your second tip. And then you've got your third tip, demonstrate empathy in decision making. Consider team impact before deciding. Ask, how will this affect my team emotionally and practically? The biggest problem we have in change management is people making decisions based on processes without considering the impact of people. So always consider the impact of what you're doing on the people. Acknowledge emotions, address concerns with sensitivity, even in tough situations. Know that some people will get their default will be anger first, or their default will be no first. That's okay. They'll come round. And then offer support, provide resources or adjust workload when someone is struggling. So all your decisions are based on how will that impact on my team. So example, during organisational change, hold open forums to hear employees' concerns and listen to what people are saying. Because very often these concerns can be resolved very quickly. So the benefits of emotional intelligence and empathy for leaders: stronger team collaboration. Emotional intelligence fosters open communication and trust. Higher employee engagement. Empathy makes employees feel valued and understood. Resilient leadership. Emotional intelligent leaders handle challenges calmly and inspire confidence. Okay, so what we're going to do is just going to put you into breakout rooms. And you're going to go into breakout rooms just for 6 minutes and just share with each other. You can connect. You might want to just use this as a total network and connect with each other, but share maybe how you work with emotional intelligence and empathy, or what you've learned from this little session. Okay, the rooms are there and we'll see you in 6 minutes. Okay, welcome back. Okay, I hope you found that useful, and I hope you've liked the fact that you can just get to connect with people. If you would like to have a chat with me to find out how I can help you or your company, if you go into the chat there, you will see my link to book a 30-minute complimentary session with me. So it's a 30-minute session that it can be strategy on your own strategy for your own business, or if you want to look at leadership development or leadership coaching for your company, please let me know. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed it. Spread the word. We look to see lots more people on the edge, and see you soon. I'm here for a couple of minutes if anyone wants to have a chat.